Now we got to talk about it. We have to discuss it. How do I approach this, man? The Arizona Cardinals has had arguably the worst offseason of all the teams in the NFL. Arguably the worst. I mean, where do you start? You can start with the whole contract situation and the whole the Kyler Murray contract situation with the verbiage and the wording in the contract that pretty much allude to the fact that he doesn't take week to week preparation seriously when you have to put wordage telling him he needs X amount of hours to devote to studying, and that big fiasco. You can talk about Budda Baker and how Budda Baker, safety, arguably your best player, demanding a trade because he just doesn't like what's going on in the organization. Well, yes, he wasn't your best player, but one of your leaders in J.J. Watt retires. And when you look at this team, man, this team, then you have the debacle of the new jersey reveal and how bad that went. It's hard to wrap your mind around this team and come up with something positive. I mean, Kyler Murray, because he tore his ACL at the end of the season, he's going to miss majority of this season. Zach Ertz is going to miss a lot of the season. Marlon Mack is on injury reserve. I think he just got hurt. Yeah, he just tore his ACL in practice or something like that. So I will hope for a speedy recovery. Who is your right now? Your quarterback is it? Yeah, Colt McCoy, who is a career backup. University of Texas, right? Yeah, a career backup. He was, and I know how good. Or let me say this: I know the ceiling that Colt McCoy has because he was the quarterback for Washington for a couple games. Boy, there is not much. I mean, you have some names. Like I said, Budda Baker, he didn't get traded. He's still on the team. You still have Marquise Brown. You still have James Conner. And he had an incredible year for them, a year or two ago. It's slim pickings, man, on this team. You have, I think you said I have Isaiah, what's his name again? I know. I'm sorry, bro. Yeah, Isaiah Simmons. Whew. That might be it, man. And no offense to any of these players, obviously, but this team, there's a reason why when you see almost every projection that comes out for next year, there's a reason why this team, the Cardinals, is arguably or pretty much one of the worst teams in every, if not the worst team in every single power ranking. And I also want to talk about Kyler Murray for a second. and talk about leadership. Because I think it's crazy, also telling, but crazy, that a player at the quarterback position that has the talent that Kyler Murray has isn't really considered one of the better quarterbacks in the league. Kyler Murray has the talent to be a top tier quarterback, and we've seen flashes of it. I mean, there was a moment, or there was a point where the Cardinals were one of the best teams in football. I think the year that they lost to the to the Rams, I think it was the first game. That team, a lot of people projected to at least make it to a Super Bowl. And year after year after year, the team has an incredible start to the season. Like, looks like world beaters, one of the best teams in football. That it usually happens with Kyler Murray, one of the best starts. And then towards the halfway point, it starts teetering, and then towards the end of the season, it just craters. Now, obviously, Cliff Kingsbury's not there anymore, so that excuse is out the door. But even with Cliff Kingsbury not being there anymore, and Jonathan Gannon being your coach, there's a reason why, and I think it's messy, and I discredit the organization for this information coming out. But there's a reason why the organization felt the need to have to put the wording that Kyler Murray, has to study. I had to put that in a contract. I talked about this when it happened. That is telling, not just for the organization, but for Kyler Murray. It doesn't seem like, again, I don't know. These are just reports. This is from an outside person or outside point of view. I don't have any insiders. I mean, this is just what the information that has been released. This is the thoughts that I'm gathering. It doesn't seem like there's much leadership on this team, or there's much respected leadership on this team. And when you have a player as good as Kyler Murray and the quarterback, that shouldn't be the case. I'm not saying that having leadership would just ultimately change the fortune of the team and the team is just going to be world beaters or whatever. But a team, and I also understand that a lot of reasons why the projections are so bad for the Cardinals is because Kyler Murray is going to miss majority of the season. But there hasn't been much positive stories coming out of Arizona, in particular, stories about Kyler Murray for a while now. And none of those stories are about his talent. Most, if not all of those stories are about his leadership, or about his lack of leadership, or his lack of accountability, his lack of preparation. And most of those stories you can kind of see on the field. We talked about Brock Purdy, and we talked about how it's very hard to scheme around a player when you don't have any film, because it's like you don't know what's going on. And well, yes, I do think that a lot of the reason why the offense stalled towards the end of every season for the Cardinals, a lot of that was the lack of adaptability and the lack of change from Cliff Kingsbury. But there's also a reason why Kyler Murray's interception rate goes up tremendously the second half of the season compared to the first half. That is preparation, or lack of preparation. And no, I'm not going to blame most of this season on Kyler Murray. Because again, he is projected not to be here most of the season. But what I will do is say that I believe if Kyler Murray was a better leader, a lot of these stories that you're hearing out of Arizona would not be the case. Because I mean, look at all the teams that have a solid leader. And it doesn't have to be the quarterback position. Look at the Rams. We just talked about that. While yes, I don't project the Rams to be that good, but Matthew Stafford and Aaron Donald is their leader. You don't hear much dysfunction in that team. Yeah, they may not be that good, but you don't hear that much dysfunction. Jalen Hurts. You don't hear that. You don't hear much of any dysfunction actually for the Eagles. Hell, don't get me wrong, man. I don't think he's that good as people say, but you don't hear much dysfunction out of the Cowboys organization. I don't think that Dak Prescott is that good of a quarterback as people are saying, but you don't hear that much dysfunction. Yeah, I know people will bring up the video with them and Trayvon Diggs, but that happens in practice all the time. What I'm saying is, hell, you don't hear much dysfunction in Kansas City. Hell, Baltimore. Even though Lamar Jackson did what he did and held out to get his money, that's the only pretty much dysfunction you've heard. What I'm saying is this, and this is where I'll conclude, man. Since Kyler Murray has gotten there, most of what we've heard from this Arizona Cardinals team has been dysfunction. And for a player as good as Kyler Murray, that should not be the case. And while I think that, yes, this Arizona Cardinals team will be very bad next year because Kyler Murray is not going to play most of the year due to recovering from an ACL tear or meniscus tear or something. But even with Kyler Murray, I don't see much success for this team. It's not all on Kyler Murray, how it was built and the construction of the team. All you can do is control what you can control. And with a team led by Kyler Murray, it doesn't seem like the Arizona Cardinals has much leadership. And that I can put on Kyler Murray. Now again, I could be very wrong. Kyler Murray can be the greatest leader. Kyler Murray can be the greatest locker room presence. I could be very wrong. But there's a reason why you don't really hear him. Hell, wasn't there a organization poll and ranking, and I think the Arizona Cardinals finished like close to last, if not last? There's a reason for that. Oh, man, you stayed to the end of the video. I appreciate you. If you like what you saw, be sure to hit that subscribe button so you'll never miss any content from your boy. You can also go back and watch past episodes, past clips, and don't forget that the Unpopular Podcast, new episodes drop every Wednesday and Saturday. Appreciate you.